Okay, I'm trying to send it out to my group here in Marion County. So I'm going to move away for a minute to see if I can get them connected.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Okay.
Hi, Joy. Still waiting for a few
Hello,
to.
ma'am.
Hey, thank
All
you for
right.
joining.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, Margie is on. She's trying to alert some other people to come on. She's the chair from Marion County. So even if it's just the two of us, we can go ahead and get started. And this is me listening. I want to know what concerns you for East Texas. What are your concerns that Congress should be able to help with?
Well, I know what we had talked well a little bit earlier about, like you said, with the food and everything, as far as shortage,
Right.
about the food and how the prices and things of the food is going up and the cost of food is high.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And uh, my other concern is for us about people, like say their voices and things being heard, is for us about voting. Not so much for Congress for me, but that's just about that burning desire there um, to get out and vote. Let me see what else. Let me process here. Um, the insurance for the well, everybody insurance is how costly the cost as far as insurance people being insured. That's important.
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, especially after the big, beautiful bill, because like now we are seeing the effects of the big, beautiful bill. I hate to even say that, but I'm going to say it because oftentimes when we say something is beautiful, it's actually ugly because we're always looking at the appearance of things, but we're not
Hmm.
looking at the root cause of or the character, and we're not digging deep. We're only looking at the surface. So I'm going to keep calling it the big beautiful bill because I'm going to explain that beautiful is not always beautiful.
That's true.
Yeah, so the cost of insurance is something that we definitely um, and I am going to link that to the big beautiful bill. Yes. Let's see, Margie, are you on? So, those of you who just now coming on, it's only a few of us, and that is okay. What Joy was talking about, she was talking about the food prices, the cost that's continuing to rise. We'll put that under inflation. Um, Building voter confidence
Hmm.
in people. So that is one thing that those who are elected and those who are seeking to be elected. That is something that I've really worked hard on building, letting people know that I'm just an ordinary person and I'm going to remain that way once I get into office. And one reason I can remain that way is because I started from the bottom. And even when I do, in life, you have and you have not. You lose and you win, and it's a continuous cycle, probably just to remind you to stay grounded in some way. So I will never forget where I came from, and I will never forget that I am supposed to serve others. So I am hoping that I'm able to convey that um, to other individuals. Let's see, Samsung. Um, let's see. And we will have friends and people who are probably other opponents that may come on and try to find out what's going on. But we definitely want to, whatever we do, we want to work in unity and we want to build. Um, so this is, even though I have opponents and so forth, all of us should be like-minded in regards to uplifting the community. So, Samsung, is there anything that you would like to add? Some concerns that you have about East Texas that in Congress we can address, or maybe you have questions that you may want to ask me that I can address. And this is mainly me listening but I am happy to provide my feedback. Okay. All righty. Margie.
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me some of the concerns for Marion County? And Margie is the Marion County Chair, and I would love to hear some of your major concerns for that area.
Well, I think one of the major concerns, which I'm hoping that we will be addressing by within the near future, is the lack of physicians or a medical facility here in Marion County. And I know that there's a nonprofit over in Longview right now who's working on trying to get physicians over to this area, both mental health and primary care physicians over in this area. And so I'm really excited about that. But the other thing is one, the high cost of groceries, and I think that's not only just affecting Marion County, but I think that's affecting all of us.
Right, right. And anything that's general, anything that's general, back and forth. If you think of something else that's in regards to Marion County, let me know as well. And then, as far as broad, not only as us as East Texans, but we know that we all have shared needs. So anything that you feel that may have not been addressed on the mainstream scale of things, because we have all these distractions going on, and when people are distracted, many forget about what is important. What is the main. Can you all hear me? I saw something about my internet.
I can hear you.
Okay. Oftentimes our needs gets lost in translation when it comes to our wants, and also in regards to the distractions. Every single day we receive the feet that rush to evil, is what I'm going to call it, because that is exactly what it is. Every day they're throwing something at the wall to see what sticks. So we need to keep our focus on what truly matters. So is there anything that you can think of that truly matters that we may have not talked about on the news, or you may have not heard candidates talk about? What are your thoughts?
I'm a retired person, and I just happen to be sitting here today looking at something on the Network, and I think Pam Bondi was she was being asked questions, and I don't know, just the wholeness of it all. The seriousness of the people up in Washington. She wasn't answering the questions, the way that the other side wanted her to answer, and it turned into a shouting match. And it just seems like in Congress, it's always lately it's been about who can outsmart the other person, who can be the most wittiest, who can make the other side look the worst, And it just seems like
it's
so
both
much.
sides. Yes.
Yes,
I'm so
it's
glad
both
you're
sides.
saying
It's
that.
both
Yes.
sides.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we're all intelligent people, and you can see right through it. And like I
Right.
said, it's on both sides. And I'd like to see us getting more focused on policies, doing something about what's going on with the country and as a whole, and stop all the little fighting matches.
That's good. Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. In the words of Rodney King, can we all get along?
Right. Right.
It's Black History Month. Let's talk about. Can we all get along? I'm telling you. Woo, he should be remembered, because I'm telling you. Woo. And we're laughing about that, because I'll say that out of a bad situation, things have happened to me, but when you have joy in the midst of everything that they try to put you through, and you come out and say, can we all get along, after you've been beaten and all of that? And then just recently, Sandra Bland, finally the police officer got 20 years, and she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. When you have joy,
right.
When you have joy, nothing can stop you. not even death. You're going to get some justice. You may not see it. You may not live to see it, or you may be living and you may not hear about it, but justice is going to come in some way or form. And I love it when people are able to rise from the occasion. And I want to parallel this. I want to parallel this to say that, okay, with what he went through, and it was him that went through it. And let me also add the Epstein. Oh my gosh, those babies! I'm telling you, I am so proud of them. I am so very, very proud of them. They too are rising from the ashes, and they are strong, and they are fighting, and they're saying, we're focused. I don't care what kind of distractions that come from the left, come from the right, come from the middle. We are focused on justice, and that we have to look at the example of those who've had many afflictions and have risen out of those afflictions, not bitter, but better. Not bitter, but better. And that is, I have his book downstairs. The one of the 5 who Donald Trump wanted to put in jail, and was talking about executing them and all of that. Well, I can't think of his name right now, but he wrote a book saying not bitter but better, and that's what we have to stop looking. We're only looking at ourselves, me. They're looking at their position, they're looking at their power, they're looking at their status, they're looking at all of these things that will fade away. But we are here to serve. We are here to serve the people. Even as an individual, we all have a gift that we can use, and we are here to serve. And that's my soapbox. That's my soapbox, because I am an author too, and one of my I'm not so happy with the churches these days, because wake up, church, answer the call to discipleship. You are here to serve, not to have program after program after program, and the only ones that you are feeding are the ones who are well. You're supposed to feed the sick. You're supposed to go help the hurt. You're supposed to go out, get out, go, do something, but everybody is, I don't know. You just have to, we need to get back to the basics. I'm a grandmother's baby, so I'm old school. And we need to get back to old school. We need to get back to those roots. We need to get back to helping each other. We need to get back to the village.
That's so true.
And so in Congress, and that's why one thing I'm hoping and praying that I win, because Galatians 1:10 tells us that we should not be concerned about the people. We need to be concerned about Jesus Christ, because if we're concerned about the people, we would not be a bond servant of Jesus Christ. And that is serving. He tells us, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Many people don't love themselves. So that's one place they need to start. And that's why we do need help with mental health. We do need help with the steps and different things like that. Margie, I'm going to send you that piece that I wrote about that poster that I sent you. It's also a piece that goes with it, but I just sent you the poster. And I was talking about, I met this man at the, Big Daddy Stereo. And in that book that I just showed you guys, I was writing about character based off myself. I was writing about the first lady who was having issues with gluttony. And see, we always look at this sin, look at that sin, look at this sin, but gossiping is a sin. Gossiping is wrong. Overeating is wrong. All these different things, and we need to look at ourselves. We need to focus on ourselves. But got where I was going. But we really need to get back to the basics. We really need to get back to helping each other, and we need to get off of our high horse. And that has to do with pride. The left side has a lot of pride. The right side has a lot of pride. And it's not look at what me we need to look outward. We need to look outward so we can help our neighbor, and if they need help themselves, and they don't need to be in Congress. You can tell many of them who needs help themselves. You can tell that they don't have peace. You can tell that they're not kind. You can tell that they don't have the gentleness, the traits that you need in order to serve others. So we have a lot of work to do. And like Martin Luther King said, either we're going to perish as fools, or we need to help each other, because we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat now. And it's not just Black people suffering or brown people suffering. Now white people are suffering. And it's not to say, I think we all need to just remember that we are human. And in this human ecosystem, we all need each other. There's something that the Hispanics, they have something to bring. African Americans, Africans, white people, Caucasians, that's what I was trying to think of, just all of them, Indians, all of us have something to bring to the table. But when one want to say that I am higher, I am better, I am more privileged, that's a problem. And that is why we can't get anything done, because everybody is filled with so much pride, and they won't let go. The people who have been in there for years, they only see their way. And it's time for change. It is definitely time for change. Okay, I'm on my soapbox. I need y'all to say something.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I just kind of refer back to when our U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett came to town, and I know that I'm assuming that she came in with an invitation by one of the sororities, but I don't know. I think it was a I'm not sure if it was an elitist kind of thing where they were bringing it in, but whoever organized, this is just my opinion, but whoever organized that, they were not looking at the community as a whole, because I think if they had been looking at the community as a whole, that church where she spoke at, it would have been a full house versus a few people that were there. And so I say that because I feel as though she would maybe the people who organized it, they were trying to include their little small group versus extending that invitation to a larger group. And I just think that did the whole community as a whole, that did an injustice for them, because there was a lot of people who asked me, I didn't know about it. Well, I don't think the people who were organizing it kind of put it in the hands or shared, those invitations with some of the county chairs. And I think
I'm so glad. I'm
so
glad you said that. Yes, because, and I'm finding a lot of that mess going on. Even with some of the county chairs, they do little things, little tricks and so forth. And I think that we need to put everything on the table and let the people decide. Stop trying, you want to talk about the Republicans tipping the scale, and here the Democrats are tipping the scale. Right. But what I'm going to say about the Jasmine Crockett coming, I found out by a sorority sister. I was and I'm not in a sorority, but I found out about through an AKA, and if I had not been, actually I was at Dr. McKellar and Dr. Nancy Nichols, both of them have a show, and I was on their show that day. And Dr. McKellar, well, she's an AKA, and she said, "Did you know about Jess?" I was like, "No, I didn't." And it was the following day. And I had already made a commitment to speak in Tyler, and it was only just a handful of people at that event also. So I wanted to stay true to my word. But a lot of times we don't know about things until the last minute, and they're not sharing. What I will say with a lot of the Democratic chairs, they're endorsing who they want to win. And I thought that they were not supposed to do that when there are multiple people in the primary. But they have put their hand on the scale and so forth. And that's one thing that I've kind of been battling with, but I had to let it go, put it on the altar, and say, Lord, you handle it. And let no weapon formed against me prosper. So that's what I've had to do. But yeah, there's a lot of things, and it's like, open it up to the community, let everybody know what's going on. And that's one thing that we as a party, one thing I can say about the Republicans, when one move, the other move, just like that. The Democrats are like, well, let me tell you, okay, we're gonna move this way, okay, we're gonna move that way, come on.
No,
The
and that is
only way, go ahead.
no, I'm saying that is true, because if you we were not supposed to really endorse anybody. We were waiting till after the primary, but the Republicans have already endorsed their candidates. I think they've already had their convention, even though the Secretary of State says the county convention is not supposed to be until the 21st of March. But I've seen correspondence from my Republican counterpart who's already selected their delegates. They've had their convention and they've already endorsed candidates, and this is way before the primary. That may be a good thing in a sense, because going into the primary, with it being multiple candidates for one particular position, you really don't know. If you haven't met these candidates, you really don't know who you're who to vote for. But I think that perhaps there should be a cohesiveness between the county chairs, or whomever else. So when you go to cast your ballot, you're just not randomly picking people, because that dilutes the vote. That dilutes everything. And I think a more favorable candidate, once you've listened to everybody, and I think once you listen to a person, for several times, you kind of have a good feeling as who it is that you want to vote for. But if you haven't done your homework, or you haven't actually listened to these people, you really don't know. So you go in there and just voting blindly. Okay, I'm gonna pick this person because maybe it's a male. I'm gonna pick this person because female. This person may be black. They may be Caucasian. Maybe I'll go with the black person. And it's just a random pick. And I think that just dilutes the votes, and the better candidate, I think, is missing out on an opportunity to serve that way.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to pick for themselves. Even when it comes to endorsing and so forth, that's just my opinion, because I filled out a couple of surveys. I did not have a chance to fill out all the surveys that I received. But I think people need to do their homework. Of course, they're not. But I think it's just like what the Republicans are saying, okay, we're going to go with this person. We're going to all back Donald Trump. Now, if Donald Trump does not have the character and the fortitude and the perseverance and the kindness and the goodness, all those type of things that you need in a character to serve people, but they've said, okay, we're going to all go behind him, then what do you have? You have people who are going blindly because they're not seeking it out for themselves, and they're being told what to do, and that is a form of control. I don't know. I just don't see that. And with the certain PACs, once they find out who the PAC is supporting, that's when the games start. That's when the dirty games start happening. That's how I saw it. With me going, I have 10 minutes. When I saw the dirty games going, it was right after the PAC pretty much announced who they wanted to pick.
Right.
So I said, it is what it is. And like I said, I'm just going to do my best and go from there. But I know what I have inside. I know what I've experienced. I know the skill set that I have. I even know what gifts I've been given, those different type of things. I have gone through the storm and come out every storm higher and stronger, and going through those where I was comforted, I've come out so I'll be able to comfort somebody else. And I know that you cannot do that if you're just an observational candidate. You cannot do that when you're just observing bad things happening to other people and you have nothing to draw from personally. We all need to have something in ourselves, inner selves, to draw from. And oftentimes that doesn't come from a book. It comes from something your experience.
Right, right. And I know that you guys put in a lot of work. One, just to get on the ballot, and I'm so proud of the Democrats on the ballots right now. The one that you were strong enough to stand up and say, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Because I think this is the first time that we've had a Democrat to represent each place on the ballot.
That is good.
And so I'm really proud of those people, of you guys who stood up and say, yeah, I'm gonna put my name in the hat and I'm gonna do my best, and may the best man or woman win. So
right.
And we have proud of you guys.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just proud of you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And in that same line of thought, I want to say that just like many voters, I went to Texarkana recently, and many people were telling me that I stopped. Why vote? Because it doesn't count. And those of us who are running and those who are going to run behind us, what if they said, why run? Because they're going to pick who they want to pick anyway, and that's who they're going to go behind. So you have to kind of look at, it all comes from the top, it all stinks from the top, so we both parties, I believe, need to get their stuff together and they need to remember why we're here. We're here to serve the people. It's not popularity, it's not the privilege, it's who is the best to serve the people. Do your homework. Go and find out when this person is speaking. Call them, ask questions, and be present, be engaged, be active. You have to actively, this is a verb we have to do. We have to actively be engaged, ask questions, be there, protest, see who is doing these things, and see who's putting skin in the game, also. Who has skin in the game. I put almost $14,000 of my personal funds into this, and I'm not a rich woman, but I believe that I have something for the people. I have something to share based upon what I've gone through. I'm a fighter. So anyway, Joy, you have any?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on, because that's actually, when they had the Democratic Party back at Broad and Recreation, that was my first time ever attending one.
Oh, okay.
So to be able to come in and being able to, like I say, listen to the candidates, the people who's running for these different positions, being able to help educate yourself, Therefore, when you see these people on the ballot, it's not like like you say, you're just kind of choosing people because you really don't know them. But to be able to be there in that meeting and being able to hear you guys as far as the difference that you're wanting to make, I truly loved it. That was my first time ever doing it. I'm like, this is wonderful to me. So being able to, to receive that information and being able to just be in that room that day, it was wonderful. It sparked something in me, So I'm like, I got to get to more of the table, with individuals being able to listen and things like that. So, yeah.
Right. And oftentimes people don't get engaged in the fight until it affects them personally, and that is sad because it's saying, forget about you. And then back to, you have to love yourself in order to know how to love somebody else. They're saying, forget about themselves. You know, they don't even love themselves enough to get into the fight, to fight for themselves, much less fight for someone else, you know. So we have to get back to the drawing board. We have to get back to um care, care like the old folks did back in the day. Not these
Mm-hmm.
new, not these new old folks is dropping it like it's hot. We're talking about the ones that made sure that your child was doing right, and if they wasn't, they were going to call you before the parent before you got home, you know,
That's
to
it.
let the parent know, you know, I saw your child down the street doing XYZ. So as soon as they got home, they may have gotten a spanking.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how you know? The neighborhood, the village. That's how I know.
Exactly.
Yes. So any final thoughts?
My only final thoughts are whoever else is on at the call with them, get out and volunteer to help the candidates, whether it's calling people on the phone, doing block walking, do whatever you can to assist your candidate in getting a win. That's my final thought.
That's good. That's real good. Yes, ladies. Yes. All right. Well, thank you. I guess Samsung left, but that's all right. All right. Well, I really, really appreciate you, and I hope that please share and tell um, your friends, spread the word. I will be here again next week at 7 o'clock.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You all too.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.